Hello, violinists. Today we are going to go through how to play Hedwig's theme from Harry Potter. I think this is probably one of the most requested songs from students, so I figured we have the time to go through it now, so let's do it. You can find this on Smart Music, and this actually comes from a collection or a book of lots of tunes from Harry Potter. So if I click here, you can see all of the different options of different melodies and tunes that you could play from that movie. I think maybe it's from several movies. So that would be something to explore if you're a big Harry Potter fan. We're just going to stick with this one for today. So looking right at the beginning here, two things we always need to check when we start are the time signature and the key signature. So the time signature for now is 3/4. This is quite fast. The quarter note is 160 beats per minute. And so today we're going to take it a little bit slower. Again, if you're going to play through this with smart music, I would bring the tempo down a little bit to start, and then as you work your way up, do it a little bit faster. In our key signature, we see that we have F sharps. And so if we're thinking about this in terms of fingering on violin, F sharps tell us that everything else is natural besides F. So on the E and the A string, those are going to be low twos to make G natural and C natural. So those are the two strings with low twos unless it's otherwise specified with an accidental. So we're going to take this by phrase, so in little chunks, and you'll notice that every phrase for the most part starts on a pickup or on the third beat of the previous measure. So I'm going to go from this B to the end of this B, and what we'll do is I'll play each phrase and then we'll talk about some of the things that make it challenging or some things to look out for in that particular phrase. So here I go from the beginning. It's going to sound like this. This section should be relatively straightforward. A couple of little things. There are two measures where you have double up bow. One of them is here and one of them is here. Just look out for those. Also, from this F natural to this B natural, remember you're going to be moving from a low 2 for this F natural to a high 2 for this B natural. B natural is one of those weird things where it's a natural note, but it's a high 2. So that's a weird thing that you have to just keep in your mind, that when it's B natural, it still is high 2. So you're going from a F natural to a B natural. Last little thing is just to remember that this B natural is tied to this other B natural. So you're going to have 3 plus 2 is 5. You're going to hold that out for 5 beats. Okay, that's a tie, not two separate notes. So that should have been relatively straightforward. We'll keep going now from this B where we left off. By the way, I meant to show you on another video that in Smart Music, I just learned if you click the note, you can click this little blue dot over here, and it actually will show you, oh, it's not working for me now. It'll actually show you the fingering, which is kind of cool. For whatever reason, there it is. So that's kind of neat. You can see that it is a high 2 from the A to the B. So right now I'm going to go from this B all the way to the end of this E. It's going to sound like this. Okay, a couple of different things in here. First of all, we see that there is an accidental to make this C a C sharp, but it immediately goes back to a C natural over here. Some people might be wondering, why is this natural sign in parentheses? This is called a courtesy accidental. It means they didn't have to mark that it was natural because the rules of music say that after the measure with the accidental is finished, so right here, it goes back to following the key signature. So, but they mark that just as a reminder, just to help you out. G sharp, this note is a high 3 on the D string. So here's our regular third finger. And you stretch it up to get a G sharp. Okay. Next note that might look a little bit strange is this A sharp. You probably know that by a different name better, and that name is B flat. A sharp and B flat actually are the same note, and it's that note way back here. So your first finger normally goes here, and you back it up. When you play this measure with the C, B, A sharp, is what it sounds like. C, B, A sharp, or B flat. And then you actually go down to a low A sharp or a low B flat. That's a low 2 on the G. And then, let me play it through that one more time. You can play it along with me. 1, 2, 3, here we go. Okay, we're going to keep going here. The next phrase goes from this G to the end of this B. So I'm going to start up here on this G here at the pick up to measure 33. Remember, it's kind of more of the same here, so you can remember back to the last section we had an A sharp, B flat's the same deal here. This is almost identical to what we had in the last section, except before it was C, B, A sharp. In this case, it's G, B, A sharp, so you have to start in the on the D string here. Then this is kind of interesting. We go from an A sharp or a B flat up to a B natural, so it's going to look and sound like this. So you're going from low to high. Other than that, like I said, it's more of the same stuff. And then I'm going to go from this G here, pick up to measure, let's see, pick up to measure 41. And again, more of the same, but here we have a very, very long note. You can do some math here. It's 3 beats times 4 measures, or 12 beats. 3, 6, 9, 12. So that's a 12-beat note. It's going to sound like this. Five, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Awesome. So before we go to the next section, which has a couple of changes, let me make this a little bit smaller and play through that whole first section for you. I know this is a little bit small, but hang on a second. There we go. So here's what that first section is going to sound like. If you feel like you want to play along with me, please do. Or if you'd like to listen and then try it again, that's okay too. So here I go from the top. 1, 2, 3, ready, go. Five, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Awesome. All right, if we keep going here, let me zoom back in. These last 3 lines are a little bit different. Both the key signature and time signature change. So now we're in cut time, and we're not going to worry so much about what that means. Some of you have learned about it in lessons. Others have not quite gotten there. But what we're going to say is that this is just a very, very fast 4/4. And the nice thing, if you're playing along with this on Smart Music, is that there are 8 measures of rest, so you can listen to the accompaniment part and pick up on the new tempo pretty easily. We also see that our key signature changes. We do not have any sharps or flats now, so all those F sharps that we played before are not going to be there anymore unless there's an accidental. Now, this first little section, these first 2 measures, you can in the first position. I actually think it's easier to do in third position, but I know not everyone has learned how to shift yet. So what we're going to do is go through them in first, and then third, second. So if you're going to do this in first position, you're going to need to use a fourth finger. And if you look after all these E's, the next note we see is a D sharp. D sharp is a high 3. So I have my fourth finger here, and I'm just going to slide my third finger up right underneath it. This is what this is going to sound like. Now, the thing that makes this a challenge is that F natural is a low 1, so you have to make sure you scooch back to get that low 1 F natural. If you don't get far enough back, it's going to sound like this. You can hear that doesn't sound quite right. I'm going to now do this in third position. So obviously in third position, there's these 2 fingers. Your D sharp is going to be right under it. Okay, and then the F natural that's coming up is also right above it. So you see all 3 of these fingers are just a half step apart. They're all smushed together. That's what makes this a little bit easier in third position. So it's going to sound like this. Oops, sorry. Then back to first position. So there's a lot less string changing. It's just a little bit easier on your hand, in my opinion, to do it in third position. Looking at measure 61. So we have an F natural again, a low 1 on the E string. And then that stretch from the C natural to the D sharp is pretty big. So that's a big stretch there. Going to keep going here on measure 63. Again, you can play it in first, but I'm going to play it in third. I'd go back to first here. C natural, E, G sharp, E, rest. Okay, so here's all the last 3 lines. Again, if you want to play it with me, go for it. I'll count us in here. Make sure you have your first note. Ready, and here we go. Rest. So that's all the way through this theme. Again, it's kind of like two really different sections, right? The first 5 or 6 lines have a completely different feel than the last 3 lines. So you can kind of work on those separately and then put them together. So again, you can play through this slowly, go through it in phrases like we just did, and then eventually you should be able to play through it maybe at a slower tempo, but play through it with the accompaniment, which makes it a little bit more fun to get to hear all that background stuff going on too. And if you like, when you record it, you can actually send me one of your takes, and I'd love to hear it.